Energy Manager Tips Layout. This is going to be tips on how to lay out your plants and storage units in the video game Energy Manager. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that I have a lot of yellow storage units in this grid, and I have a second grid that has a lot of yellow storage units. Those grids have high subsidies. If you click over here and then click on Sell, it says eligible for 44% subsidy. Because it has a high subsidy, you're going to make more money from this grid. So you want to put all your storage units in the high subsidy grid. This is another one that has a high subsidy. So it's eligible for 45% subsidy. So I want to put a lot of storage units in this grid over here, which means I'm going to have to remove the power plants. This grid has a lower subsidy. It says 34%. So over here, I'm going to move the power plants into this grid, and I'm going to move the storage units out of this grid. So because these are the two high subsidy grids, they're all going to be storage units. And then you'll notice that the power plants are over here, which is probably a low subsidy. I don't know, this is only 19%. So there's no reason to put any storage units over here. And the reason why I have a lot of windmills in this one is because it does have more wind power than the other grids. If you sit here and watch every day, you'll see that the grid with the windmills tends to get more wind. So over here, I have a lot of windmills, which is Long Island and maybe Westchester County. And the reason why is the same. It tends to get a lot of high wind speed. In fact, my highest wind speed was in one of these two grids. It was like 17 or 21. Over here, I have the same situation. Although I am selling these, I'm removing them because they're too far away from the other offices, so I don't get enough for the cross-grid discharging. And same with that one over here. Over here we have a lot of windmills that are in a grid that has a high wind speed. And some of the larger windmills, they'll do pretty good even with a lower wind speed. When I show you the subsidy, 44%. So what I did was I moved all of my storage units into this grid for the 44% subsidy, which means that when I sell, it's probably going to always give me the best value. Over here I have two that I don't need. I'm not going to use them anymore. So I'm going to sell one of them. The other one will be used for the cross-grid discharging. I did have some windmills over here along the water, but I removed them. So the other thing that I do is in every grid, I put one gravity storage unit. This is a 10 megawatt concrete gravity storage, so that when I do the cross-grid discharging, I get a potential like over here, when it was selling for $25.85 or $26.49, I might earn more money because I have this available on the cross-grid discharging. When you sell from one of these other grids, it might sell it to that grid. So that's how I do the layout for most of my grids. This one, what I did, this is a solar power plant, and basically what I did was I just put it in the southernmost location that I could, and I connected a grid which is 2.5 gigawatts. I don't have a layout yet for drilling or for nuclear plants, but I will do so in the future. And obviously for the hydrogen generators, I don't own any yet, but once I get enough points, I'm going to get the hydrogen generators. When you have everything close together, you get more value from the cross-grid discharging. You click sell and then you click on advanced. You see over here it says 1.2. 1.2 million is the total value. And over here I've got 1.5 million because that grid has a high sale rate for electricity right now. Could be any one of these grids. It says US 600. But unfortunately, there's no way to find out easily what grid, what grid number this is. Not impossible. I found it before, but it's hard to find. Okay, so that is a little bit about Energy Manager. Those are some tips for how to do your layout. And of course, when you buy new offices, you want to expand near the shore to get wind power, south to get solar power, in the mountains for wind power. And I think in the bigger cities, you get the higher subsidy. There's a big city right over here, but I'm not sure. Okay, that's Energy Manager tips. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.